But we have upgraded to Windows 11, and since we have done that, all of our computers hate us. I don't think I don't think Andy will be here today.
Yeah, I can't make it.
Yeah. So Liz, I haven't heard from one way or the another.
Yeah. I
Same
know
with
she's getting
Merle.
back from some time away, so.
Oh, is she okay?
Mhm.
Um, so all that to say, I'm not sure how many more folks we should be looking
Yeah,
for, but I did put the agenda in the chat.
yeah.
Um, to make things easier. Can't believe Thanksgiving's next week.
I know, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it to be this late in November. Or the year. Ah,
How is Nima?
it was good. It was good, yeah. Um, I wasn't able to be there for Friday, but I was there. I went up Tuesday and came back on Thursday, and it was good. Manchester, I've never been to Manchester before, and it was very cool. And so I think I missed Becky's presentation because I think they were on the last day, maybe,
It
or
was
they were
Friday
late in
morning.
that
Yeah.
afternoon. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I hope that went well.
As far as I know, it did. I was here.
Yeah. And I went to a day of historic New England last week, because that was in New Haven, and that was interesting. Um, hadn't been before. So it's been busy. It's just like November for some reason. Everybody does their stuff in November. And we're just coming off awards and all the things. How are things in the library world?
Busy,
Yeah.
busy. We do our annual membership drive in November.
Hmm.
So that's always a lot of work to get off the ground and as it starts
Yeah.
going. And I just got our budget booklet today,
Yeah.
staffing, everyone wants the time off. It's busy.
Yeah.
And I always forget too. I always think that November is like one of those sleeper months. It's not. It
Yeah.
surprises me every year. I should know by now.
Oh. Well, we
That's
can, I think we can make quick work of the agenda. I basically wanted to use this as carved out time to like think about what we should put in our report for the year so I can like write some of that stuff up while we're talking and then have something to send whenever that's due and uh, just see where we are with local committee outreach. And I think for the meeting schedule, if we don't have people here, we can't really talk about exact dates necessarily in terms of like what days, what times, but we could talk about the frequency of meetings. And yeah, I know that we met Cindy to talk a little bit about the outreach. I haven't gotten around to any of that yet, but I think we can talk about it more.
so very quickly in terms of the Give 250 debrief. Um, well, so in November we were able to raise just over $22,000 from 189 donors. Um, with 12 organizations successfully raising funds. In October, we were just over $10,000 raised from 101 donors, with 13 organizations raising funds. I think the benefit for July was that we had a lot of attention because it was around the 4th of July and there was
Yeah.
lots of the 250 at this next year. And I didn't really think about how much that helped, but I think it really did. I'll also say being the week before election day in October, I think
Yeah.
there was a lot of competition for
Yeah.
attention. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of the local committees in particular got a lot of social media attention for Give 250. And at least my algorithm, everybody's is different, was just full of political posts, particularly like anything local was political. So I think that played into
Mm.
difficulty for people getting the word out. Um, so successful still means that there's over $30,000 out there being used by people that wasn't available before. So that's the key.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like we made a little over 1,500 and then less the fees. It's a little less than that, but I think it was I didn't put a ton of effort into it for the organization, but I already had a GiveGab profile to utilize, and um I think it was a good opportunity to just share a little bit about some of the things that we're hoping to do. And again, that money wasn't there for us before, and now it is. So even though it was a small amount, I felt like it was worth the time. Um, have you had other feedback from other organizations, Cindy, at the commission level, or?
Not necessarily. I haven't heard from a lot of folks. Generally, just thanks for making this possible
Mhm.
is the vast majority of what we've seen. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't heard a lot. There were some questions about making things available earlier, and I think it was. I think that things were there, but the reminders about where they were came a little
Yeah.
late for people.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything from anyone, Margaret? I know a few libraries participated.
I didn't get any reports back on that.
So, annual report content.
Yeah. We have to, Cindy probably knows the deadline. Just share a little bit. No, okay. At some point, let me find the information.
I want to say maybe December 15th. That feels like a date we would have said nobody's
Yeah.
going to work on this over the holidays. So let's make it due before the holidays.
Yeah. Why are there so many annual report draft? Okay, here we go. Um, nope, that was from last year. Okay. Okay, here we go. Yes. Draft language by the 15th of December. So, um,
Did Rachel provide you with the content from last year?
yes. Those are on subcommittee work plans. Um, I can share my screen. This is what Rachel sent. So I think this is basic. Am I understanding this correctly? This is what we had last year, and we're
Yep.
asked to, yes.
Yep. I'm looking at that exact paragraph from last year. So,
Okay. So we just have to write a paragraph?
yep.
And is it a work plan or is it a report on what we did? I thought it was supposed to be a report on what we've done, so I guess I'm confused about the work plan aspect of this. Are we putting together a plan for 2026?
Yeah, just kind of a paragraph on what we as a committee are planning to work on in 2026. In terms of the report on what we've done, I think that the last couple of years, we have kind of just looked back at our minutes from the meetings
Yeah.
and did that part of it.
Okay.
I'm trying to find, um, yeah, like we report on the municipal committee meetings,
Okay.
that the engagement subcommittee has helped with outreach. So all of that, I think we take care of in kind of counting up meetings and stuff like that over the year.
Okay.
But any direction is helpful from the subcommittee chairs.
Okay. I see. Well, I mean, I'm not sure like exactly how much is going to be different and what we're going to be doing. Like, I mean, I feel like hopefully we'll be doing our best to make sure that every municipality is involved, right? I can't edit this, but
Oh, you don't have edit access.
I don't know. It's probably because I'm using my league account and I never log into that other one. So um I probably just have to remember my password and log in and open it in the other Google instance, one of my many Google profiles. Um, so, I mean, does anyone else have, I just like, I assume that we'll try and complete our outreach with all of the towns and make sure that we have contacts for everywhere. And then, I feel like there's not that much that's different about what we're going to be doing, other than the intensity will perhaps be particularly great in the run up to July.
And the
Um,
affiliate organizations.
hmm?
The affiliate organizations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, encouraging. Do you mean like encouraging more affiliates?
Yes.
Yeah,
And the recruitment that
yeah,
we've done for that.
yeah. And then, okay. So if we only have to write a paragraph, that's fine. I can write that. Does anybody have any other thoughts? I mean, what's not really done by, I mean, like, it's happening. So, I
Right.
feel like the work that we've done a lot of the, um, I feel like we're in a good place with the towns, and how many affiliates are there now? There's quite a few.
170 as of this week's meeting, which is great.
Yeah, more affiliates than towns.
Finally got there. It's been so moving. I think my only question, and
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong answer, is
Yeah.
as we flesh out the calendar, is there anything that we feel like we should be doing to encourage public and or commission representation at events around the state? I
Mm.
think people would love to have commission representation at their events, but I think it's hard for people to get out to stuff. And I personally completely understand that. Um, uh, but so we internally have talked about launching a monthly e-news that is just a listing of events starting in January.
Yeah.
But beyond that, is there anything we feel that this subcommittee and or the full commission should be encouraged to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's good to encourage that people know what's going on and, as they're able to go to things in their communities or things that are convenient. I think it's difficult, as we saw with many of the like fairs and festivals and things, to, get firm commitments from particular commissioners to go to particular events. Everyone is very busy. And, I know as an organization that runs events ourselves, it can be difficult to, kind of double up on that because I have to be at all of those. Um, but I think, yeah, I'm open to including some language in there about ensuring that commissioners are aware of events that are going on and where there are opportunities for them to represent the commission at local events or something a little more general like that. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think, Margaret?
I think that's a good idea, just to not commit anybody to anything or make any promises because we all are very busy.
Yeah.
But
Only a couple of us at this meeting. So.
just making the awareness a priority,
Yeah.
I think touches on that point.
Yeah. I love the idea of the monthly newsletter highlighting those events. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. We've always wanted to do it. It's just
Yeah.
been, we're just now starting to get to the point where we have enough of a critical mass of events that it's worth sharing out instead of
Yeah.
just one or two sporadic things. So that should work
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in general, it is good to know, like what's happening and, go to things where you can, just like I like to do with our members, right? But I can't possibly go to every event that our members are having because we have over 250 member organizations and they're doing stuff all the time. So,
Exactly.
I think it'll be a bit like that, but, where is there a more particular role that you would, or a mechanism that you would see for encouraging this, or just, reminding commissioners at meetings that, things are happening and where possible, they should try and attend events in their own communities or ones that are convenient to them or that interest them.
I think it's the latter. I
Okay.
don't know what would be
Yeah.
our ability to really,
Yeah. Match people.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if we
Yeah.
just kindly remind people
Yeah.
that there's a lot going on, and I mean, Rachel and I can add all of the commission members to the newsletter and make sure everybody gets it so that at the very least it gets into their inbox.
Yeah.
It's easier than going onto the website to look for what's happening.
Yeah.
But just that, yeah. So I think that all sounds good.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. I'm just going to stop that share so I can see you guys again a little better. Are there are there places, Rachel, where you feel like, we're still not seeing involvement where this committee in particular may want to do additional outreach, at this late moment in 2025? I mean, I think we focused on the towns as sort of this is an easy way to ensure that we're getting folks from all over the state involved. But, I'm looking in particular at the language that was in there around, groups that, may not have naturally seen themselves as a part of this and,
Yeah,
um,
made some headway with libraries, thanks to some of the outreach through CLA. Education has been slow moving, but we're getting more youth
they're
groups
yeah,
involved and,
yeah,
or at the very least interested.
yeah,
Involved might be too strong of a word, but interested. Um, I think non-history museums are probably still an area where we could do more. Um,
We're hoping to do some work on that around our conference. But the exact details of what that's going to look like will depend on how much funding is for us to work with on that particular initiative. But we're hopeful that there may be some funds to work more closely with art museums around the conference, in particular focused on the 250th and beyond. So,
and then outside of that, I just don't know that we've ever been able to articulate the best reason for people to get involved.
mhm,
I think we've had some good conversations around like fraternities and sororities and doing outreach through church groups, but I don't think we've ever
mhm,
figured out what exactly the right
mhm,
pitch is. And pitch sounds too commercial, but like
mhm.
why should people get involved beyond just it's happening? So yeah. So I think that's been the struggle. If we want to make that something that this group works on a little more, I think that would be a welcome support. I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what the outreach is and what the outcome we're looking for is.
Yeah.
And that might be the question. Like,
Mhm.
yes, people can get involved, but what does that look like for them?
Yeah.
I think
So-
what was really helpful to the libraries was that there was a lot of freedom in what being involved looked like, that there was no real structure. And I see how that's also kind of a crux too, because it can be like way too open-ended, make people uneasy that way. But the libraries reported that they really liked that you got some extra like marketing support out of it, that you were on other event calendars supported by the 250, and there was a bigger outreach that you might have been able to have to reach some different audiences than
Yeah.
internal advertising might have gotten to. And use of the partnership, the logo, just a little bit extra support to the day-to-day seemed to be positive from the library side.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think when we've talked about reaching diverse audience, and in a lot of ways we've been thinking about it in terms of like more ethnic diversity, I think that's where if they're not groups or organizations that are already doing public programming, it gets a little harder
Yeah.
to make the argument.
Mhm.
So I don't know. But if we have ideas, we're happy to support however
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah, I mean, I think that some of this I guess I feel just kind of with everything that's happened in 2025, there are ways in which some groups that may not have been interested before may be interested now just because of some of the things we're seeing happen in the country. And there's a lot of thinking about what the future of this country looks like. So I feel like there are a lot of conversations that, may be open now in this crazy year that we're living in, that people weren't thinking about last year, when they might have been doing a lot of the pre-planning, the organizations that were more like naturally aligned with the semi-quincentennial. So I don't know, that's just something I'm thinking about. Like I went to this workshop at Yale a couple of weekends ago at the Gilder Lehrman Center about like public history in authoritarian times. And, I think there's just a lot kind of coming out right now. There's like newspaper coverage of, what's going on with the 250th. And, I think the Atlantic had a special issue, and, Joe Lepore's been writing a lot about this. So I think that there's, a public conversation happening in ways that aren't just about like what party are we going to have, for the, when are we going to have our parade? This is just me kind of rambling, but you know, if we're thinking about what's that value proposition, well, the value proposition is like, what's the future of the nation, right? And everybody, I would think, would care about that question. Very much a thing that people are talking about. I think whatever your sort of political stripe might be at this moment in time. So,
I mean, maybe then the question is at a future meeting, if we want to have an organized conversation around perhaps what affiliate groups are missing and
mm,
make it really specific, not like what types of groups, but literally
yeah,
what groups do we know of that we could reach out to.
yeah,
And that is how we round out the people who are involved in some
yeah.
way. We've also considered, oh, Rachel, I apologize when you watch this recording tomorrow and listen to the minutes. We've also considered, in lieu of the conference that we're not putting together this upcoming year, doing some regional gatherings in the spring with local committees and organizations throughout the state.
Mm,
And that might also be a value proposition. You can be part of these conversations at a regional level. Um, so I think that might be something that we ask this subcommittee to help with
mhm,
in the year as we really put together what those agendas look like and what makes sense to encourage collaboration and conversation on when we have 30 people in the room who are involved in the 250th in different ways and a
mhm.
smaller area than the entire state of Connecticut. So, um,
Have we done any correspondence with chambers of commerce?
we have shared information with them. We've done some targeted email outreach, but that is about it. I think we've done the bare minimum, but I think there could be more.
Mhm. Maybe with the regional meetings, that would be a good opportunity to bring in the chambers of commerce. I
Yeah.
know that the Mystic New London area Chamber of Commerce is like extraordinarily active. I know some people on there who I think would be really gung-ho to spread the word or get involved themselves. So, because
Yeah,
that's a whole different area. That's like restaurants and real estate and construction and
But
yeah,
that's thinking about the tourism side of this. And I think that, you know, even if Connecticut hasn't done so, certainly many other states have seen this as a major state tourism opportunity. Massachusetts springs to mind. Um, you know, every WBUR podcast I listen to has like ads for their podcast and like Mass 250 and all of this stuff. So, you know, I think that there is a natural fit there with thinking about how local businesses can benefit from, you know, people going out and doing 250 of things in different communities,
Mhm.
whether it's going to a museum or attending an event or, you know, seeing the parade and grabbing a cup of coffee. So, and then I know that the veterans group is like putting together like a trail. So I think that there's certainly natural connections there if, you know, if there's an encouragement to, you know, hit multiple sites and develop an itinerary and, you know, do Connecticut related Revolutionary War things. So is there a common chamber of commerce like list for all of the chambers of commerce or a list of all of the chambers of commerce?
I
yeah.
don't know.
Um, I believe the Secretary of the State's office has one.
Yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
and if not, we have one that we've put together that we
Okay.
can probably share if necessary.
Yeah.
I feel like we just copied and pasted it from the Secretary of the State's office
Yeah.
and then went Googling to find context to
Yeah.
fill in. So, no, I think that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
Um, okay. I lost the agenda.
Great.
I'm going to blame my computer and its hatred of me too. So I think that is annual report content.
Yeah.
Meeting schedule we can check in about in the future.
I think we
Um,
had talked about meeting a little more frequently in the beginning of the new year. Like, what are we doing right now? We're doing quarterly right now, or
yeah,
um, I think we could do something a little more frequently, especially prior to July. Um, although, but I think it depends on exactly what we think we're going to be doing. Um, and if some of it is just, um, some of these tasks, like if we're splitting up chambers of commerce outreach or um, sharing out, events, that's maybe not meeting worthy, but if there are strategies for, if we want to have, I love your idea about having a more focused conversation about, who's kind of missing from the groups of affiliates and who can we encourage to become more connected, just from our own. That would be a great meeting to have, like in the new year. Um,
yeah. I'll connect with Rachel and we'll put together some proposed dates and maybe some proposed topics for each of those meetings and figure
Okay.
out based
Yeah.
on this conversation that we're having today and kind of what the year looks like when we put together um the report and like the
Yeah.
plan for 2026. We can figure that out and reach out with proposed meeting schedule topics and maybe some homework before meetings so that
Yeah.
folks come um in the nicest way possible. It won't be hard homework, just so we can kind of keep these meetings maybe to an hour, but have it be really
I
focused.
think that's fine. Like, I don't think we've used the full hour and a half in a long time, so I am totally fine. Like, I mean, it's always nice to like have a meeting end earlier than you expect, but it's also nice to know how much time actually is occupied on your calendar by that meeting. I really do like the idea of the regional gatherings. And I do think that's something where, I don't know, where we should be having the commissioners who live in those areas or work in those areas, like present at, some commission representation at those meetings would be great. Because I think that's an official, you know, event of the commission, and it
Yeah,
makes sense to ensure that we have commissioners at each of those. And I think they're really helpful. They'll presumably be really helpful for us to be understanding what more we can be doing or what we should be working on or where people have questions or where they're doing really amazing stuff that we want to elevate. So I know Matt's doing a conference in March 20th to 21st, I want to say. I don't know what the nature of it's going to be, but it's going to go in our newsletter this month, so you'll probably hear from him.
yeah. I'm assuming it's whenever spring break is
Yeah,
usually what he
yeah.
plans his dates
Mhm.
around, so that makes sense. Um, great.
And
Um,
our conference will probably be, 250th focused, but with a big tent. The idea being to really connect across disciplines and talk about, museums more generally, at this 250th moment and beyond. So that's kind of what we're thinking for the league conference in June.
cool.
When
So,
is the library conference?
Last week of April.
Last week of
I think it's
April.
the
Okay. Because that's another
28th.
thing. I mean, I think thinking about the communities that we're representing in these sort of statewide organizations, like how are we dovetailing those with what's happening with the commission?
so Margaret encouraged us, and we actually got a proposal in time for this
Oh,
year's
great.
conference. I think last year we really meant to, and it
Yeah.
just time slipped away. So,
It's
I'm
it's one of those other November things that
Yeah. Right.
Deadlines that proposals are due in November.
Yeah, ASLH NCPH is like due in a couple of weeks, and I feel like I should put something in. I need to like get my act together. It's going to be in
Yeah.
Mystic. Mystic, Providence, Providence, Providence,
Providence.
Providence,
Yeah.
Providence. Nema's going to be in Mystic.
Ours is in Mystic too.
Oh, great. Yeah, everybody loves to go to Mystic for some reason.
Is yours always a Mystic though? At least it
It
has
is
been the last few years.
almost always in Mystic.
Okay.
Every 5 or so years, we try to get it to Hartford, but for the size and the pricing, it's just really hard to justify any other venue.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, so then I don't know. I know Amris, Rachel, and I talked through local committee outreach. Amris, do you feel like it's worth having another conversation right now, or do you think reaching out to the folks we identified first, seeing what kind of response we get, and then having a follow-up conversation or email?
Sure. Again, this is just one of those things that's like on my like back to-do list that I just need to like block out an afternoon and just send a bunch of
Yeah.
emails. But I think that let's try and instantiate the plan where your folks and I were going to reach out to the organizations in the various towns that we don't have contacts for. And I think we could regroup at the next meeting with kind of like where we got from that. And if there are particularly thorny ones, that's when I think we can activate the rest of the committee to do additional legwork where needed. And if we bring it to the full subcommittee, no offense, Margaret, but you and I are not the same. I mean, actually sharing it with Margaret would be I don't know if you looked at the list at all that was circulated, but given your affiliation with the Library Association, libraries may be another way into municipalities that,
Yeah.
weren't a part of our conversation. So
Yeah.
what we did is we basically went through the list of towns that we didn't have contacts for, and I looked in our membership database and, to see like, do we have any contact with this town, or their historical society or a institution in there, and kind of divvied things up. But obviously, any
You know
help
what?
is.
I am friendly with the library director in Wolcott. I could send him a message
Mm,
if you want.
Yeah.
And Andover and Columbia are my neighbors.
okay.
I don't know anyone outside of the library for either of those towns, but I can start with the library if you want. I could maybe get a lead. And
Yeah.
I'll take. Oh no, you've got someone for Tolland. Never mind. Make a little note for myself.
Great. Yeah, I
And
don't think we need to go through it in great detail since we've already kind of gone through it, but I think Margaret's another good person to do that outreach, just, being involved with the statewide organization. You probably know people in other towns, right? That just like
Yeah.
this, where you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I know a guy in this town. I know a gal over here. Oh, they're overdue on their membership. I gotta contact them.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, this is, it's good for me to do this too, because it's a touch point, potentially with folks who may want to get back involved if they've fallen off the map. So it's all good. So there's an email template, and eventually I will do this. I don't think we need to talk too much more about all of that. So we can see where we are, basically in January, I guess. And, I figure if we don't hear back before the holidays, it doesn't make any sense to contact people until the new year. And then, I assume we'll meet next in the new year. So,
exactly. That sounds great. And I'll say,
and that's a good opportunity to go through that and then think about the affiliate list too.
perfect.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Cindy. You'll
Oh,
say,
no, don't worry.
what would you say?
Something along the lines of we were going to do some kind of mailing out to mayors with the new year, with like 2026 is here. At this point, almost everybody will have a contact, so most of them will get that letter. And then the ones who we still don't have a contact for usually will include a blurb that says,
Yeah,
if you have someone working on this for your town, please let us know.
yeah.
So
That'll actually probably be quite effective, I would imagine.
I hope with the headline 2026 is here now that it will
Mhm.
be effective.
Yeah,
We've been sending out something to that effect since 2022.
yeah.
So we've gotten more and more people, and I think actually we had maybe 30 local committees at the beginning of 2025, and we're up to almost 140 now. So, like,
This has been a big year for that.
it has. And I think there are moments where we feel like it's moving slowly, but then good reminders that it really has ticked up quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
I think that's everything we had on the agenda.
Okay.
Anything else we want to touch on while we're all on here?
I will try and write up a paragraph based on what we talked about, and get that in. And then maybe if things are quiet next week, I can knock out some of that outreach. I don't think I have a lot of meetings, so that's good.
Always a good
Mhm.
week.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. Well, thank you
Yeah.
both for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. I don't want it to be here, but since
Yeah.
it's here, I hope you have a wonderful one.
Thanks. Take care.